Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tyrell, and welcome to the Nosebleed Show. Welcome to the Nosebleed section. Still getting things set up for the stream, but nonetheless, lots to talk about, lots of things to go over. The Super Bowl is set. The Pittsburgh Steelers have found their head coach. Will the Browns find their head coach in the next 24 hours? That news could break as we're live on the show. I am your host, Tyrell, and welcome to the Nosebleed section. Welcome to the Nosebleed Show. If this is your first time here, welcome back if you're returning. Lots of things to talk about, lots of things to go over, lots of things to discuss. So let's not waste any more time. And let's go ahead and let's go over the fact that we have the AFC representatives. The New England Patriots in a defensive battle. We talked about it on the show last Thursday that I believe this game is going to come down to defense. And boy, oh boy, did it show. Did it show. As you can see here, Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7. Drake made 10 of 21, 86 yards. Jarrett Stidham, 17 of 31, a buck 33, one tutty, one interception. The New England Patriots are making their 12th Super Bowl appearance in franchise history, which is the most in NFL history, as they go for that elusive 7th NFL championship, 7th Super Bowl. No team in the modern era has 7 Super Bowls unless your name is Tom Brady. What a defensive game by the New England Patriots. What a defensive game between both teams. And it really showed that points were a premium in this game, especially with the snow coming down in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. And I do just want to say this before we continue our analysis of, to all the people that was affected by this storm, got hit by the storm as well. Not as bad as other people, but, prayers go out to you guys. I know a lot of people are still without power. Which means a lot of people are without heat. So we're praying for you guys, praying that you guys can find a warm spot and, get a nice hot food in your stomach in general. So this storm has really affected everybody, but Denver got to see some snow, not from that storm system, but from something else. And it showed. Will Lutz missed that field goal in the fourth quarter. Gonzalez with the interception over on Jarrett Stidham. That sealed the game. And the Patriots did just what they were supposed to do to win this football game. It wasn't a barn burner. It wasn't a total beatdown. There were a lot of opportunities that the Broncos had to win this game, to win and prove the naysayers that Jarrett Stidham could lead them to the Super Bowl. This game definitely would have played out differently if Bo Nix was in the game. But nonetheless, you play who is in front of you, whether that's team or player. You play who is in front of you. And Drake May does something that Tom Brady himself, the GOAT himself, his other kryptonite, not named Eli Manning, what Tom Brady couldn't do, and that was win a playoff game in Denver. Tom Brady was 0-3 in the playoffs against Denver in Denver. I think all 3 of the times that he played Denver was in Denver, and he went 0-3 against them. And Drake May was able to conquer the Broncos. Say what you want to say about, all these teams deal with injuries. Say what you want to say. Oh, they played Jarrett Stidham and not Bo Nix, whatever it may be. They still went out and won this game. If they would have lost this game, we would have seen the memes flying off the shelves like crazy. I will be checking my phone very frequently, because I am trying to see, will there be news of a new head coach for the Cleveland Browns? We're going to see. Waiting on that as well. Hit that like button, hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, the whole 9 yards. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. But what a game. What a defensive game. This wasn't a boring game at all. So, the game started off hot. Jarrett Stidham threw that, a 52-yard bomb that led to Courtland Sutton's touchdown. One of the only passing touchdown in this entire game. And They did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. What's next for Denver? Not sure. Not sure what is next for Denver. Not sure at all. I know that they're going to build upon this. Who knows if they turn around and get another backup quarterback that's not Jarrett Stidham. But there was a lot of times that Jarrett Stidham could have won this game and didn't win this game that I know that, and I think a lot of people know that Bo would have showed up to the plate. But we will never get those answers, at least not this year. Maybe we have to wait another year to get those answers if we know if Bo does what he does, if Bo can step up to the plate. We'll find out. But it won't be in the year of our Lord and Savior of the year of 2026. We'll find out in 2027 if the Broncos get back to that position. So what is next for Denver? Obviously, it's going to be to scave off that team, that other AFC West team, and that's not the Chargers, that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Because we know that Kansas City is going to be back, or we have very high confidence that Kansas City is going to be back. Denver, clearly, I think Denver needs to get another wide receiver on the opposite side of Sutton. And overall, I just think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. This was a team 3 years ago nobody thought could be in this position. And there is evidence that I've said this dating back to 2021, 2022, that while they were building this team, while I was paying attention to this team, I said, Denver is one quarterback and a competent coach away from being Super Bowl contenders. And they had ended up getting their coach in Sean Payton. The quarterback wasn't Russell Wilson, but it was Bo Nix. They've been building this defense for a while. They've been building this defense over the last 4 or 5 years. So they don't have a lot. There's not a lot much else that Denver can do, per se, that, you get what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I'm thinking of, that Denver has the ability to be back in this game next year or even go to the Super Bowl. And I think they would have made it to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix would have played. But this game came down to defense and coaching. Defense and coaching. Which Mike Vrabel is showing why coaching matters. Mike Vrabel is showing why coaching matters. Did they build upon the team last year? Yes. They got rid of some guys. They added some guys. They addressed the offensive line. They brought back Josh McDaniels to grow and develop Drake May, which was an excellent, smart move. Josh McDaniels is a Patriot through and through. But Vrabel, how that team reacts to Vrabel, how the energy and the aura and the excitement and the belief that nobody can conquer them, right? That's Mike Vrabel. They didn't have that with Gerard Mayo last year. They didn't have that. They didn't have that with Bill Belichick towards the end. Matter of fact, one can make the case they never had that at all with Belichick, because Belichick was all about business. And don't get it twisted, Mike Vrabel is about business, but Mike Vrabel knows how to break down things and become a player's coach because he was a player. This is the first guy in NFL history to appear and win a Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls with the team that he is now coaching. Time would tell. We will know in 2 weeks if he will win a Super Bowl as a coach as well, but he's definitely the first coach in NFL history to appear in a Super Bowl with the same team he's played for. And Vrabel was a part of that Patriots dynasty early run, which begs the question to all you guys: is there a new Patriots dynasty rising? Look at this picture. Like Vrabel and Drake May, we saw the post-game reaction where Drake May was like, "Hey, coach, I speak for everybody when I sit back and say, like, we love you guys." But it's funny that since 2016, that the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the New England Patriots have been the AFC representatives since 2016. Since the last time this Super Bowl was in Santa Clara, ever since then, it's been the Patriots, Chiefs, and the Bengals kind of threw themselves in there as a wild card. But while the Chiefs are bad, while everybody's paying for the downfall of the Chiefs and everybody's happy, the Patriots dynasty potentially back? Who knows? Who knows? But it's looking very bright. Look what Mike Vrabel has done for this entire team in 1 year. 1 year. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. In 1 year's time, look what Mike Vrabel has done for the New England Patriots. And the notion of they got a former Patriots player, a high successful former Patriots player to come in and coach this team and to turn this team around. That's the narrative. I got to defend Jerod Mayo on this one. Let's not act like Jerod Mayo was a scrub for the New England Patriots. We're not going to sit here and act like Jerod Mayo was a scrub for the Patriots. Jerod Mayo was a Patriot through and through as well. But Jerod Mayo couldn't do what Mike Vrabel could do. And that was bring the best out of every single player. And he didn't have the roster as he did. Let's be honest here. They were still in that rebuild mode. But I don't think anybody had the Patriots making it this far. Easy schedule or not. Because the main narrative is, oh, well, they've had an easy schedule. They've had an easy schedule. Look at the schedule that they've had. Come on now. There's no way. Of course the Patriots did. This could have flipped the other way around. This could have flipped the other way around. And guess what? Let's say this went the other way around. Then what? Then the jokes would be, you guys had one of the easiest schedules, and now you guys cannot succeed. You guys can't succeed off the schedule that you guys got. Wow, you guys must suck. You guys, and the jokes would continue to make. So regardless of the schedule that they had or not, the Patriots are in the Super Bowl once again. Their first Super Bowl without Tom Brady since the Drew Bledsoe era in 1996. Will the results be the same? This is the franchise's, third Super Bowl appearance without Brady? Because they had the one in 85 with Tony Eason. And they got kept to ass by the 85 Chicago Bears. To New England's credit, that year in 1985, at least they scored points, unlike the other two opponents. The Chicago Bears at 85 went through the NFC without allowing a single point. So that's the Patriots' legacy. It's 2 Super Bowl losses without Brady, and then they proceed to win 6. And they went to more Super Bowls. They went to 3? 2 or 3 Super Bowls in between ring 3 and ring 4 in that 10-year span. We know about the almost undefeated season at 18-1, the rematch 4 years later. I mean, this is a Patriots dynasty. The Patriots dynasty. Everybody talks about the Kansas City almost 3-peat. The Patriots were a Philly special and a Brandon Graham strip sack fumble away from 3-peating them damn selves. Because that was in between their 2 Super Bowl wins, between ring 5 and ring 6. Was that Eagles game. But this is their 12th appearance in the Super Bowl. So my question to you, is this a new Patriots dynasty rising? Because we all seen that Ricky Proehl clip. If you guys knew, that was Ricky Proehl, where he was talking about the Rams and he's like, a new dynasty would be born tonight. And he was right. It was the New England Patriots. And when everybody's been celebrating the death of the dynasty of the Patriots, meanwhile, the Chiefs end up having their own dynasty. The Chiefs have a downfall, and this is what happened. This is literally the Thanos, like in Infinity War, where it was a soul for a soul. You asked for the Chiefs' downfall. What did that cost you? a potentially another Patriots dynasty. Isn't that funny how God works sometimes? Isn't it funny how sports works like that sometimes? I find it funny. I do find it hilarious. I'm gonna take a brief intermission. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Seattle and New England. So I'll be right back. All right, thank you guys for the patience. We are back. Had to handle some business over here, but we're back. And first intermission we've ever had. We usually keep it going, and we're gonna keep it going with talking about Seattle versus the Los Angeles Rams. Final score 31-27. And again, another game of the year, like another game of the year candidate. Like, how many of these games of the years have we had, people? Like a boatload, a shit ton, as some would say. Right? And look at the stats right there. Darnold, 25-36, 346 yards, 3 tutties. Stafford, 22-35, 374, 3 tutties. Made a little error on my slide, but that's all right. It's just me. Literally, a literal quarterback duel, a literal wide receiver duel. Puka Nacua, 9 catches, 165 yards. JSN, 10 catches, 153 yards, and a tutty. Seattle is making their 4th Super Bowl appearance in franchise history with the record of 1-2. We know about the last time Seattle was in the Super Bowl, ironically enough, against the New England Patriots. Ironically enough, against the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 49, 11 years ago. All you got to do is run the ball at the 1 yard line. Just like the way Atlanta needs to, the only way Atlanta needs to shake the 28-3 narrative is by going out and winning a Super Bowl in the franchise. This is a way for the Seattle Seahawks to redeem itself and redeem the franchise of not giving it to Marshawn Lynch. But what a game this was. We had everything in this game. Great offense, great defensive moments, horrible special teams at the end, or in the middle of the game, excuse me. And just all around great drama and great commentary too. You know, Tom Brady does a great job being a color commentator and pointing things out that not a lot of fans get to see or know or anything like that. And Tom Brady is what Tony Romo wished he could be. Tom Brady is what Tony Romo was when he first popped on the scene 20 years ago. Or was that 9 years ago? Something like that. Something along those lines. Something to that effect. This was, you know, sometimes a game doesn't deserve deep analysis other than this was a great game. This was everything that you will want in an NFC championship game. And we said it last week. We said it on Thursday that this championship round had the potential of being one of the best in NFL history. And I'm not even going to sit back and say disappointed like that whatsoever, because we got this great game, this great offensive game, this great game that had everything that you would want in an NFC championship game. This could end up being the de facto Super Bowl. Because to a lot of people, it wouldn't surprise anybody if Seattle proceeded to put belts of ass on the New England Patriots. It wouldn't surprise people. Not whatsoever. So this could be the de facto Super Bowl 60. Just a great game between these two great quarterbacks. And I am seeing it now. I'm seeing it now, but it really could happen. And that is Sam Darnold could change the way we look at quarterbacks. Sam Darnold literally can not only change his narrative. Sam Darnold could literally change the narrative of how the NFL needs to treat quarterbacks coming into the NFL from college. Look at the teams that Sam Darnold has played for since he's entered the league in 2018. Remember, he was the 3rd overall pick. He got picked over Josh Allen. He got picked over Lamar Jackson. And a lot of people go, ha, at the Jets for doing that. Remember, Sam Darnold had more upside than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen going into that draft. Lamar Jackson had a lot of upside potential and a higher ceiling because nobody knew which direction it was going to go. And we saw what it's done for Lamar Jackson. We've seen that Josh Allen had to put in a lot of the work, and the Bills were very patient because Josh Allen was extremely raw, an extremely raw talent. Remember, there were executives, primarily Bill Polian, that was saying that Lamar Jackson should go and play wide receiver or tight end. He said himself, he said, if I was still an executive, I would have forced my coach or recommend my coach for him to be the wide receiver. That's what we were looking at. And say what you want to say about it, but Bill Polian wasn't the only one looking at Lamar Jackson like that. Sam Darnold was seen as a potential 1st overall pick. A lot of people thought the Browns were going to pick Sam Darnold. Hell, Sam Darnold thought the Browns were going to pick him. He wore a brown tie. He wore a brown tie and was very happy with the way the interview went with the Cleveland Browns and all that other stuff. But it didn't work in New York. Remember, he was seeing ghosts out there. Man, he's like, man, it's like I'm seeing ghosts out there. Then he goes to Carolina. Carolina's in a bad situation. Carolina doesn't believe in him whatsoever. He has a few good games in Carolina. Then we know that him and Baker end up on the same team. Like, how crazy is that the 1st and 3rd overall pick, both are quarterbacks, ended up on the same team within 4 years of them being drafted. But where I think things clicked and changed for Sam Darnold was when he was able to sit and learn under Kyle Shanahan, to sit behind Brock Purdy, to be in the same quarterback room, and to be in the same organization as Kyle Shanahan, one of the brightest minds of all of football, especially when it comes to offense. Sam Darnold said it himself, I didn't know how to read a defense correctly until I went to San Francisco. We know about Minnesota 1 year. And remember, Darnold was not there in Minnesota to be the starter. I think a lot of people forget that. Darnold was there to add veteran presence and to add a veteran leadership to J.J. McCarthy. J.J. gets hurt, tears his ACL, out for the year. And I'm still not ready to put a bust label. And to be honest with you, I know it's very easy, it's very simple to go, well, Minnesota made a mistake. Minnesota put themselves in a corner because Darnold was not supposed to be there to be the starter. He was there to either be relief or to give JJ the veteran structure that he needed. That's all Sam Darnold was there in Minnesota for. He wasn't there for anything else. He wasn't there for anything else other than to be JJ's backup. And that changed in the preseason. That changed. And now we got the big debate of, or just plain flat out, let's flat out to say it. A lot of people have said Minnesota made a massive mistake letting Sam Darnold walk. Made a huge mistake letting Sam Darnold walk to go to Seattle. Seattle gets Sam Darnold, and instantly they see it as a quarterback upgrade from Geno Smith, which they were absolutely correct on. Anybody with eyes could tell you that was a quarterback upgrade. But let's not also change the narratives now that Sam Darnold's going to the Super Bowl. Because the narrative was Sam Darnold's season in Minnesota a fluke? Was last year a fluke for Sam Darnold? Let's not change the narrative and act like when Sam Darnold was in early MVP conversations back in 2024, that the entire internet was stunned that Sam Darnold was playing like this at a high level on a consistent basis throughout the year. Then the narrative was Kevin O'Connell. Then the narrative was, oh, well, he got Justin Jefferson. He got the other JJ. And he's in that system and everything is great. And that's why Sam Darnold's having the season that he's having. And there was that debate that do you keep Sam Darnold or do you ride with JJ McCarthy? And this is why I also say that Sam Darnold has the opportunity to change the narrative on our quarterbacks because nobody is giving JJ a chance. Has JJ been hurt a lot? Absolutely. There is no doubt about it. There is no questioning it whatsoever. That's the facts. But there is something that JJ has that has not been, there's some untapped potential with JJ that has not been exposed yet. But everybody is ready to label JJ as a bust, even though this was his de facto rookie year. This was his de facto rookie year. This is his first year playing. But Sam Darnold and others like Baker Mayfield, like Daniel Jones in the early parts and the mid parts of the year before he tore his Achilles, have shown that sometimes these quarterbacks need an opportunity to be put in a position that benefits them. Sometimes it takes them getting away from the Jets, getting away from the Carolina Panthers, going to a Kyle Shanahan, going to a Sean McVay, going to, you see with Caleb Williams, a Ben Johnson. It takes that. It takes that sometimes to realize that a quarterback needs a right system and or a right environment and a coaching staff and an organization that believes in them to gain that confidence. Because Sam Darnold, up until this point, had all the tools to literally make it in the NFL. That's why his ceiling or I should say his floor was so low and his ceiling was very high. All the physical tools, but it wasn't here. It wasn't here until he got to San Francisco. So I think Sam Darnold, didn't mean to change that slide. I think Sam Darnold has an opportunity to sit back and make us all go, whoa, maybe we need to give this guy another chance. Maybe we are reacting too fast. The era of instant success and instant gratification has hurt these quarterbacks because Sam Darnold is a prime example of why instant gratification is not for everybody. If you would have told me that in 2022 that Sam Darnold will go to San Francisco, go to Minnesota, have a great year in Minnesota, and then lead Seattle to his 4th Super Bowl appearance in franchise history, I would have laughed. And I think a lot of people would have laughed. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. But it's okay to have quarterbacks sit behind. It's okay to give quarterbacks another opportunity after another opportunity. And Sam Darnold, when he did play in San Francisco, showed flashes of what he could be. But now that he gets it, and now that he has full confidence and has an organization that has full confidence in him, well, guess what, everybody? He's playing the way he's playing, and now he gets the game. So it's Sam Darnold winning this Super Bowl, and especially having a great game in the Super Bowl, if it does happen, could change the way we look at quarterbacks, could change the way that we see and hear about quarterbacks, how we evaluate quarterbacks, how we look at their situations. And not every quarterback is going to be a Sam Darnold. Not every quarterback is going to be, you put him in a different situation, now he's going to turn great and all this. Sometimes the guys just don't have it. They don't have it, whether it's the confidence, the talent. I mean, clearly they had to have some of the talent because they were there. You're in the NFL, you're better than me, for sure. But like, look at Justin Fields as an example. Like, Justin Fields been what? 3 organizations? 3 organizations. You can say, oh, it was the Bears back then, it was the Jets, but he's been a part of 3 organizations. And look what's happened. But look at it, Baker Mayfield, right? It didn't click for Baker for real, until he got to the Los Angeles Rams for those few games and learned under Sean McVay. If Baker doesn't go to Los Angeles for those 4 or 5 games, we don't get the Baker Mayfield of today. And really, let's be honest here, the Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns with that inconsistent play kind of came out this season. It's the same thing with Sam Darnold. We don't get this Sam Darnold if Sam Darnold doesn't go to San Francisco. If Sam Darnold would have stayed with the New York Jets the whole time, or he would have stayed with Carolina the entire time, we would not get this version of Sam Darnold. And even I sat back and said, you know what? Sam Darnold's going to Sam Darnold. And he didn't. He delivered in the biggest game of his career up until this point. Now the bigger game is Super Bowl. But yesterday, at the time of his live, that was the biggest game. And a lot of people thought he was going to fold under the pressure, and he didn't. He delivered. He went toe-to-toe with, let's be honest, a future Hall of Famer and a potential first ballot Hall of Famer at that. He went toe-to-toe with who could more than likely be the NFL MVP. That's who he went toe-to-toe with. That's who he went word for word, bar for bar with. That's the Sam Darnold we got to see. We got to see a Sam Darnold who was at his most confident, who was at his most blocking out the noise, who was more locked in than anybody else, not named JSN, on that field. Not named JSN, not named Puka or Matt Stafford. He was one of the people that were locked in on that field. The lights were not too bright for Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold exercised his past failures by beating the Rams. Remember last year in Minnesota, the Rams exposed and beat the piss out of Sam Darnold. That's why we end up having that debate in the first place of do Minnesota sign with Sam Darnold or do they go with their 10th overall pick? That's why we had that debate in the first place. I've said it on this channel before, is that I cannot stand that hindsight changes narratives, which is true. It happens, but I can't stand that we make hindsight change the narrative so much that we forget about what we did talk about. Like, this stuff is not on YouTube. Like, this stuff is not on Twitch, not on Twitter or X, whatever the French toast you want to call it. We act like that. We ain't never talk about the fact that Minnesota, there was a debate of should Minnesota keep Sam Darnold. There was a debate of, oh no, you got to let Sam Darnold walk. There was a debate of, no, you keep JJ, no, you keep Sam Darnold and trade JJ. It was all these narratives, and JJ has to have the time to develop and get healthy. He needs to get with his strength and conditioning coach, maybe get with a second strength and conditioning coach, get with a herbal, whatever you got to do to stay healthy. You need to go ahead and do that, JJ, because the guy that the Minnesota players wanted, the guy that most of the fan base wanted, is now leading the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl. And Minnesota hasn't been to the Super Bowl since the 70s. So I do believe that Sam Darnold has the potential to change how we look at quarterbacks. And to be honest with you, Sam Darnold, in my opinion, I think if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, I think this benefits the quarterbacks coming into this draft. I really, really do. Because now it's not going to be just, oh, well, Mendoza is the first overall pick, or Ty Simpson is this pick, and Ty Simpson needs to do this, and Chamberlain needs to do this. Trinidad Chamberlain needs to do this, and all this other stuff. It's not that anymore. It's, okay, what do we need? Because a lot of the real fans, a lot of the ones that really pay attention kind of go, okay, we need this, this, and this. You need to do this. But I'm talking about like the national media or people just casually talking about football. I think a lot of people will sit back and go, okay, well, you know what? We were wrong about this. You got to give Mendoza. I think there's going to be more leeway, more understanding, more forgiveness for these rookie quarterbacks coming in as Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl. If Drake May wins the Super Bowl, then a lot of people are going to go, well, Drake May can do it in 2 years. Y'all better do it in 2 years. But Sam Darnold wins is kind of like, maybe you need more time with this organization. Maybe you need to go somewhere else to thrive and be the best that you can be. That is the belief. That is what I think is going to happen. And speaking of narratives, the early narrative is going to the Super Bowl 60. Obviously, the number one narrative is going to be Super Bowl 49. Obviously, it's going to be Super Bowl 49. That, as a matter of fact, don't be surprised if you see Super Bowl 49 aired 16,000 times between now and Super Bowl Sunday. Don't be surprised if you see Super Bowl 49 aired, prior to the Super Bowl, like 3-4 hours before the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised if you see Super Bowl 49 aired on Peacock one too many times. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Can Seattle get their revenge? It's going to be, oh, Drake May and all this other stuff. We know what the narratives are going to be. The number one narrative is going to be Super Bowl 49. The other narrative is going to be, can Sam Darnold do it? Will they run the ball at the 1 yard line? Can Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots create the greatest turnaround in 1 year, or one of the greatest turnarounds in 1 year? Will they be able to do that? Another narrative is going to be, is the quarterbacks. Sam Darnold deliver. We haven't seen Drake May really deliver all like that. Can Drake May deliver? We've seen Sam Darnold deliver. So the early narratives of Super Bowl 60, one is going to be Super Bowl 49. 1 yard line, the whole 9 yards. We know it's coming. We know it's going to happen. But I'm trying to think. Sorry, wheels are turning. But I think the real narrative is here is the quarterback play. between Sam Darnold and Drake May. This is Drake May's biggest game. He was in this stadium 10 years ago as a child. And now he's a 23-year-old grown man playing in the Super Bowl for the New England Patriots. So, that's going to be talked about a lot. But again, like I said in the previous segment, is Sam Darnold going to change the narrative how we view quarterbacks? We're definitely going to see. We're going to take another brief intermission, and then we're going to talk about Shieldhouse potentially going to the Browns, get it a little bit in his background. We're also going to talk about the Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy and the latest of the NFL. Coaching carousel. This is from the nosebleeds. Thank you for joining the nosebleed section. We're going to be back in about a minute or so. Shouldn't take long. I'm just going to get myself a bottle of water. Then we'll talk about the head coaching carousel and everything like that. All right. That was about a minute, maybe two. All right. NFL coaching carousel. What is it? 3 weeks later, we're still going through it. We still got 4 teams that are have their jobs open: the Browns, the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Buffalo Bills. Some of those job openings, one of these job openings opened late. That was just last week. We were just talking about that. But the other 3 teams, they fired their coaches at the beginning of the postseason. And we're still talking about who's going, who's staying. We're still talking about the NFL coaching position. But the Browns might be closing in on their head coach. And that's Nate Shieldhouse. So who is Nate Shieldhouse? He played at the University of Illinois from 2009 to 2013. He was redshirted in 2009. There's his career stats: 775 out of 1,231 attempts, 8,568 passing yards, 55 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. Also ran for 2,066 yards and had 19 rushing touchdowns. He still holds the school record for all offensive purpose yards with 10,634 yards. That's Nate Shieldhouse. So former quarterback. So we do know this, Browns fans. Nate Shieldhouse could play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He probably would do better than everybody not named Shedeur Sanders. He went undrafted. Then he decided to not play football anymore. And that's when he became the Illinois football operator. And then it later became the running backs coach. He was there for 3 seasons. And then for about 5-6 seasons, he spent time at Iowa State in various roles, including quarterback coach, running back coach, and offensive coordinator. Sean McVay must have liked what he saw out of Shieldhouse, so he was able to poach him out of the college ranks, bring him out to the Los Angeles Rams, where he's been an offense assistant and the passing game coordinator ever since. So I think, like, dude, pass game coordinator to me sounds like a fancier word for, I don't know, quarterbacks coach per se. I mean, so I mean, I just don't know. But if he denies his position, and I've been keeping an eye on my phone because, according to a lot of people, according to a lot of sources, one or two things is going to happen. One or two things are going to happen. Either A, the Browns will give Shieldhouse a new deal, and Shieldhouse will be the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Or if Shieldhouse sits back and goes, I'm going to wait to see what Buffalo does, because while Shieldhouse is doing his second interview, Buffalo requested an interview for Shieldhouse. So maybe he'll want to see what Buffalo wants to hear. It's kind of funny that Buffalo's going after the same targets we got. And just from the surface level alone, Buffalo is more sexier than the Cleveland Browns. But you ain't got a lot of patience in Buffalo. You have way more patience in Cleveland than you will have in Buffalo. Definitely, for sure. So there is a lot of, what's going to happen. As of now, I have not seen anything about Shieldhouse getting a deal. I haven't seen anything about, him denying anything. So I've been keeping my eye on this all day long because it is looking very, very promising for the Cleveland Browns to get Nathan Shieldhouse. Looking very promising. But as of now, still no word on if Shieldhouse will be the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. But we do got word on somebody becoming a head coach of somewhere of an AFC North team, and that's Mike McCarthy, hired as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Why do I have a big old smile on my face? Because I have a funny feeling he's going to be the first coach since 1969 to get fired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I heard people saying this was an unexpected hire. We knew Mike McCarthy's from Pittsburgh. He coached at the University of Pittsburgh. Mike McCarthy, yes, he's a what they call him, Yinzers through and through. So why wouldn't he go and coach and to be there? And why wouldn't RD2 do extensive research and go, yeah, Mike McCarthy's the guy. The organization that had Chris Shula right there, all the connections, all the ties going to that. Organization that goes against the grain by hiring like retrends and hiring coaches that failed anywhere else and bringing in new guys to give them an opportunity. We've seen it. Their last three head coaches: Chuck Noll, unproven head coach, Hall of Fame head coach; Bill Cowher, unproven head coach, Hall of Fame head coach; Mike Tomlin, unproven head coach, turns to be a future Hall of Fame head coach. To Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is the Doc Rivers of the NFL. He carries that one championship ring to job at the job at the job. Rather it's staying with the Packers way too long, getting a job with Jerry Jones and Jerry World for the Dallas Cowboys, to now his hometown team of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, and boy, I have been loving, as a Browns fan, I've been loving the online discourse of, Mike McCarthy, getting hired by Pittsburgh. And man, they are pissed because we know what we're going to get out of Mike McCarthy. We're going to get a year or two and all the Yinzers are going to be happy and the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. We're going to hear all of that shit. And then it's going to blow up in everybody's face. We know who Mike McCarthy is. They still can't. And if y'all think that's going to bring back Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers couldn't stand Mike McCarthy's guts towards the end, come on now. Aaron Rodgers is gone anyway. Now you're going to have to rely on Mason Rudolph. Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh my goodness. I've been praying for times like these. The dysfunction of the Pittsburgh Steelers are in full swing, in my opinion. And I could be very wrong about this. But if you think if Artie's goal is to break a 10-year drought of not winning a playoff game, congratulations, Artie. You will achieve that goal. Maybe. But if Artie's goal is, hey, we're gonna win a Super Bowl. Yeah, okay. He carried that Super Bowl. That ironically enough, he beat Pittsburgh to get that Super Bowl. He is gonna ride that till he can't pause till he can't ride it no more. Because that's exactly what that is. That's exactly what this is, a retrend if I ever seen it. And I am stunned. I wasn't surprised. It wasn't unexpected because there was interviews and there was little rumblings. And I got, I live in Cleveland, but like there's a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and I was seeing, Steelers fans going, hey, we better not hire Mike McCarthy, or I heard they interview Mike McCarthy and all this other stuff. But my God, it actually happened. I had to double take. I kind of went like this. I went, what? Mike McCarthy, Steelers head coach? Really? This is real. Great. I laughed because this is something. Geez, I got to clean my glasses. This is something that I did not expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to do. I didn't expect that to happen. I don't think a lot of people expected that to happen. I'm not surprised by it, but it's the fact that they actually went ahead and did it. And does Mike McCarthy? I think Mike McCarthy has a winning record. Let's take a look. And we're probably going to cover that press conference here because I do not expect. I don't expect the Pittsburgh media to be thrilled about this. I don't expect. I don't expect it. I don't expect. I think they looked at. I mean, McCarthy has a 174 and 112 record as a coach, but he's also 11-11 in the postseason. And a lot of that was due to early success with the Green Bay Packers and coaching prime Aaron Rodgers and the whole 9 yards. I just don't see this working out for Pittsburgh. But maybe you already know something that we don't know, apparently. Maybe. But I just this would be like a slam dunk hire if it was 2009, if it was 2010. This is not a slam dunk hire. This is a okay, sure. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of crazy and controversial when he got hired by Dallas. When he took that year off. I mean, like I said, Dallas 12-5 his first year, 12-5 his second year. So he's not this terrible head coach, right? Like I said, he's Doc Rivers. You know what, Doc Rivers, you're going to win a lot of games in the regular season. You know what, Doc Rivers is smart as hell. And Doc Rivers is a guy that when he comes in, he's going to re-energize the organization and things are going to be on the up and up. But at some point, it's all temporary. It's all the wheels on the bus will stop going round and round, and you're going to lose a few lug nuts. And next thing you know, you've lost a wheel. Then you'll lose another one. And before you know it, the retrend is dead. Like I said, he had a 24-10 record his first 2 years. But that was also when he had Kellen Moore, which I've given high praise of. But wait, they went 7-10 their last year? His last year in Dallas? Went 7-10 his last year in Dallas. And remember, Mike McCarthy was the head coach for Dallas when they got dominated by the 7 seed Green Bay Packers. He has that distinct mark on his record of being the only coach to lose to a 7 seed team since they extended it to 14 teams. Remember that game in the wild card? Got built to ass in that game against the Green Bay Packers. Built to ass. So will he bring a jolt to the team, to the organization? Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's going to be what a lot of people think is going to be like just a bunch of losing. But then again, Mike McCarthy's walking into a situation where there is no Aaron Rodgers. Prior to that, Mike McCarthy got hired as the Packers head coach. Brett Favre was there. Then it transitioned over to Aaron Rodgers. There's not that in Pittsburgh. There is no Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. There isn't. Even though I think he was part of that draft with CeeDee Lamb. Because that was the COVID year. Yeah. But still. First year, he went 6-10 there in 2020. Went 12-5, 12-5 in 21 and 22. And then they went 7-10 that second year. Or that his final year there. They went 2-10. So that's Mike McCarthy. Super Bowl winning coach. But like I said, the Doc Rivers of the NFL. Him, you can say that about Sean Payton being the Doc Rivers of the NFL. But to me, it's definitely Mike McCarthy. That Super Bowl ring has gotten him 3 jobs. He's gotten him 2 jobs, and the one job it had him stay way too damn long. Other news around the coaching carousel of the NFL. We know Jonathan Gannon, the former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, would now be the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Let's see what else. I think the Browns still had to interview Anthony Lynn. Grant Udinski withdrew his name from the Browns head coaching position. Zach Robinson's going to Tampa. Tommy Reese to Atlanta. Drew Petzing is going to the Detroit Lions. David Blau is going to the Washington Communist Party. Brian Flores got extended. Christian Parker going to the Dallas Cowboys. And the Arizona Cardinals, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, and the Buffalo Bills still have to have their head coaching vacancy filled. Still have it. That's the latest of the coaching carousel news. Shieldhouse had his second interview today. Still no word if the Browns have offered him a deal. I'm still looking. But with Udinski pulling his name out of the drawing, because Udinski got pretty much a pay raise with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So either he's going to stay as the Jacksonville's offense coordinator where he gets a higher pay raise while they're still allowing him to be interviewed for other head coaching vacancies. Because Udinski is going to be a head coach one day. But Shieldhouse is looking like the prime candidate. That's why we talked about Shieldhouse a little bit. He's going to be the prime candidate for the Cleveland Browns. If he pulls his name out of the race, I think I had put in here. If he denies the position, who's next? It's either going to come down to Anthony Lynn or Jim Schwartz, in my opinion. I don't think Todd Monken is going to get hired. I think they would have been offered him the job if they were very confident in Todd Monken. You know, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know Tom Telesco is working with the team to find their head coach as well. The Cleveland Browns having people write essays. Really? That's some Paul DePodesta shit right there. That carried over. Yeah, we want you to write an essay on why you should be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Bitch, you better be writing me a fucking essay why I should come there and be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The fuck? Hit that like button. Please share. Hit that notification. Subscribe. The whole thing. The whole shebang, she boo. Oh, baby, way she boo, she moves. But y'all ain't about to sit here and make me write an essay to be. Y'all ain't the New England Patriots. Y'all ain't the Kansas City Chiefs. Not even the Buffalo Bills. Y'all gonna make me write a fucking essay on why I should come there. Well, I'd kick y'all ass. That's what. Come on now. Come on. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's all we got for today, man. That's all we got today. Thank you all for tuning in, whether it's your first time here. Again, thank you all. If you guys just popped in for 5 seconds, if you guys watched the entire show, thank you very, very much. My name is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. Thank you all for joining the Nosebleeds section. Until next time, see you later.